Hello and welcome to Ace Run Pro's coverage of the 2020 Hub City Halloween Open in Spartanburg, South Carolina. This event is sponsored by the Great Courses of South Carolina, with coverage sponsored by Great Courses and Infinite Discs. This is Vern Weygandt from Great Courses, and I'm joined today by Deann Carey, sponsored by Innova Champion Discs.
Hello. This is round 2, back 9 on the Tiger River course. This is the second day lead card, which includes Ricky Wysocki, sponsored by Innova, Chris Dickerson, sponsored by Prodigy Disc, Nikko Locastro, sponsored by Westside Disc, and Zach Melton, sponsored by Dynamic Disc.
Some good footage going on today. We've got Wysocki and Dickerson playing at 16 under for the event, and Locastro and Melton at 14 under. If you joined us from the first half of Tiger River, now we're at the back half, and the wind is coming into play here with tons of open holes. Hole 10, 483 feet, par 4. We're throwing here, you can either go through the trees in the middle, you can go to the left of these trees, or gigantic hyzer out around the right of the trees. But there's danger. There's OB to the right, OB to the left, and OB beyond the basket. We've actually moved this basket a little bit too to get it out of these fir trees that have grown up over the years.
I've seen a lot of the MPO players go for that big hyzer.
Can't see. Oh yeah, it went out of bounds. There's I mentioned the OB to the left. We put a line right between the fairways of hole 10 and hole 18 because they're almost on top of each other. And yeah, you got to be careful on the left-hand side here. Looks like Nikko's going for another smash out around the trees. Can't quite see the end of that one, but no out of bounds, so I guess he's going to be okay. You know, something about Tiger River, you can hear the wind in the microphone right now. Tiger is notorious for swirling winds that doesn't matter which direction the wind's coming from, they can swirl around and give you what you're not looking for. Kind of like Ricky right here. Is it? I think he's okay. Looks like it tombstoned barely inbounds. See what Zach's cooking up here.
Hey.
Wow, that's full of
There's
goodness.
a throw.
Oh, that'll do just fine. Deann, you go straight up the middle, the left, or the right on this hole?
I go on the left side, turning something over and having it come out.
Oh, nice.
It's tricky since all of the little trees have grown up a lot more, and you either have to throw over top of them now or under them.
Yeah. It used to be back when the course first came in and we first started having this event, if you ended up somewhere in these trees, you were okay because you just poke something around it or a little bit over it. But now these things are so tall. If you're under one of them, you just about have to get down to a knee. Dickerson eyeing this line over top. Oh, that'll be just fine. He misses all the trees and just pops right down there inside the circle. Zach set himself up perfectly here. Yep. He had an opening, but I don't know if it was the wind or whatever, but something got him caught up in those trees.
But he cashes it anyway.
Oh, yeah, it didn't matter. Trees, no big deal. Knock a couple shots down, get a birdie anyhow. Yeah, I mentioned before that we pulled this one out from the encroaching trees behind. A good birdie by Nikko. If you see behind Nikko, right, there's a bald spot on the ground. That's where the basket was up until the end of summer this year. Boom, another birdie. And the crowd of one or two watching him goes wild. Excellent play on that hole. Hole 10 actually played a little bit under par. A lot of birdies, but it played .2 under par. Hole 11. This is kind of a new addition to our course. Traditionally, this was 570 some feet to the yellow basket. Now we have the red pin position on the left. We made kind of a little island. Same throw off the tee, and you want to come straight, but then you've got either one of these little baby fairways to the left, or you just land it out in the middle and then take a poke at the basket. Small island green with lots of OB tall grass around the basket here. And Nikko is up first.
Even though the distance on the hole is shorter, I don't think that it changed the difficulty at all.
Yeah. Normally people try to stay out of that tall grass, but now they're being asked to throw at it and over it. Yeah, I think he knew that one from the time it left his hand.
Oh, you're in.
How?
What? Oh.
Unbelievable. I caught the break of my lifetime. That's
Okay.
a break all year, bro. Right there. I ain't
It's an
never
early
caught a
Christmas
break
gift for
like that. You
Nikko.
guys don't believe me. I'm sorry, guys.
Ricky keeps backing up. Is he going for it? No, he's just trying to get distance.
That looks like a perfect shot.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately for Zach, he's got to throw right at OB here. Excellent shot. He didn't look like he was happy with it then, but inbounds is good. Because you see those flags in the background, those things are whipping. You cannot tell what the wind is going to do to your disc at this point. Like that. That's it. Looks like it's going to beat those trees and stay in bounds. The tree line is out of bounds. You should have a decent look at up and down from there.
Easy for these guys.
It's old Dean there saying that's easy for these guys. Thanks to all the folks that volunteered and came out to spot on all the courses. We had a big army of spotters for this event. Wow. Okay.
Is that good? I think so.
Usually under the basket's fairly decent. Wow. That skip there at the end could have been bad. So there's where Nikko landed. Okay. Yep, there we go. 4 looks at birdie. So although the lead card is making this hole look pretty easy, this actually played just a little bit above par. Looks like we had just about equal amount of bogeys and birdies on this hole. Tall grass and wind are a bad combination. dramatic birdie, but he got it in.
I like those birdies the best.
Yeah. Looks like the Melton fans did too. All right, still super steady close here. Ricky at minus 18, Dickerson at 17 under, and Nikko and Zach are right behind him. Hole 12, short hole, 255 feet, par 3, OB all around the basket, tall grass. So, as you can see, this one's kind of a pitch up from here, but the tall grass can make it tough. So, with that in mind, do you feel like a hole like this belongs on a course like Tiger River, with all the longer holes and more difficult par 4s and such?
I think this hole matches up pretty well with the course because it's on the shorter side, but it's still difficult because you have OB all around the basket.
Mm-hmm.
And that big tree in the middle, you kind of want to go to the left or the right of it, but most people are aim right at it, and if you hit it,
Oh, yeah.
that's outside the circle.
Yep.
So you have a jump putt for a birdie.
Yeah, that is one thing about the tall grass here, especially if you're a right-hand backhand player and you decide to go to the right-hand side of that tree. If you hit a branch or hit the tree in the wrong way, then it is no bueno.
Yep.
Looking good there. I heard a couple folks describe Tiger as the NPO folks describe it as a birdie or die course. Would you agree with something like that?
For the MPO field, yes, definitely. You want to come out here and you want to get the most amount of birdies that you can.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, somebody else will.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel like it played for the FPO?
I feel like it played pretty good. I think best score out there was a couple under.
Mm-hmm.
And so it played pretty fair for us.
Wow. Just rode the left-hand side there. It looked like he threw a putter. Good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Cashes it in. Another great putt.
Looks like we might have us another star frame.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Ricky just throws his mini.
Yep. Star frame indeed. Yeah, this hole played .26 under par. We had close to 50% of the field birdied it, but we did have about a quarter bogeyed it. Hole 13, 273 feet, par 3. Very similar to hole 12, only this one's a little bit longer and it's uphill. The basket's on the side of the hill here, and it raises the difficulty a good bit. What do you do when you're throwing uphill? Is this a driver?
Well, normally I try to throw something a little unstable.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way that this wind was,
Oh, yeah.
I could not do that. So I had to throw something a little more on the stable side to try to get it to anti-flex over.
Looks like Nikko kind of took your advice there and did exactly that.
Mm-hmm. And he went out of bounds.
Yep, unfortunately. It's the first time all weekend I've seen Ricky go out of bounds. straight. Is it going to stay? Oh yeah, it's fine. I actually saw Ricky play this, play Tiger River. He did a great video with his brother Zach, and he came out here and played Tiger River, and he put it right at the basket multiple times, but it wasn't windy that day though. Dickerson getting up there just about in circle.
This hole's only 273 feet, but the elevation makes it longer.
Oh yeah. It's got to play at least 325, 350, and then you bring the wind into it. Glad that thing sat down.
This is another scary one to run because if you hit the wrong way, you're going to roll all the way down that hill and possibly go OB.
Yep. Ricky saving that par after going out of bounds. A long putt in the wind. And listen to that wind. Look at the flags in the background.
Nikko with a little tailwind putt, it looks like.
Stop it. Stop it. Nope, 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 nope. Oh.
And that's the roll I was talking about. Luckily, it didn't go OB.
Yeah. Sit down. Don't do it again. Whew. Zach saving his par there. This actually played as one of the more difficult holes of the day. Plus .31 over par. There were a few birdies today. We had a certain Mr. AJ Carey birdie this one. You might know him. Jesse Ewing, Cameron Messerschmidt, Raven Newsom, Andrew Turner, local guy, Paul Ulibarri, and Ryan Valdez. We'll shout out to Andrew Turner. He was actually one of the guys from our local club that made the cut at USDGC and getting in on that first day. He and Evan Scott. Nikko not happy there, had a super unfortunate roll.
Hi, this is Dave Felberg, the 2008 Disc Golf World Champion, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pro Pool and their training products. I used to be a dipper. Some people are rounders. To break that habit, you need a Pro Pool. You hook it up to a wall or tree, it'll break your habit. New release, practice poles. You put them together, you stick them in the ground, there's a flag on top. You throw around them, help you accuracy, prepare for your tournament without having to go to the course. This has been Dave Felberg with Pro Pool Disc Golf. Go to propooldiscgolf.com and try our products today.
Hole 14, 348 feet, par 3. This one comes back down beside hole 13. You went uphill for 13, now you're going back downhill for 14. Unlike the holes preceding this one, you do not have out of bounds in the tall grass. So you can hyzer it to the right, you can hyzer it to the left, you can throw it straight down the middle. If you can get down here to this clump of trees, then you're going to be okay. But there's lots of other things to get in the way here. Ricky not wanting to mess with any tree, just goes over everything. Looks like that's circle-ish. Maybe outside, can't see the flags around there. That's a scary shot going over all those trees.
And it's very scary to throw that high, especially with how bad the wind was that day.
Yeah, no kidding. Yep, Dickerson won no part of that super high shot. His throws a putter or a mid down there.
And throws it perfectly.
Holy cow. It's like a tutorial. Here's how it is. This hole's actually super easy in Dickerson's mind.
Nikko trying to follow suit. Doesn't get it turned over as much, but it looks like he'll still be inside the circle.
Yep. Gonna do just fine. Oh, that was a good run at that. Lucas was further out circle than I thought. Holy cow.
But that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Here's another run back for us. First one of Tiger here. Wow, deep in circle 2, and Ricky just cashes it. Trees, wind, it doesn't matter. We see some raptor legs, maybe small raptor legs. You know, like velociraptor or something like that, like baby raptor. Nikko Charlie Brown and his disc there with the foot. He makes the save though. That's less fortunate lie than I thought. Guess it didn't matter. He's good to go.
Then we'll have Chris tap out the easy birdie.
We had a few of those on the day. Not a lot though. Chris Dickerson, Corey Ellis, Big Germ, his buddy Paul Ulibarri, Peter VB, Van Brussel, and Ricky himself. Boy, Wysocki and Dickerson are kind of pulling ahead of everybody here, but still, Melton and Locastro are not too awfully far away. Hole 15. This is the newest one on our courses. Unfortunately, the old hole 15 got taken away because they're putting a dog park at the end of where it used to be. But now we start off with a tunnel shot here, and then you're going to hook inside these trees, and it goes from kind of an open area to just tree bonanza. A couple lines through there. If you make it out, the tall grass on the left is OB, so you got to contend with that. And then there's the basket. 790 feet, but still every bit of a par 5 because there are a lot of places to get into trouble here. Rough skip there at the end. Oh,
good kick out.
Wow. Good relationship with the trees. Wow, that's cooking.
Hey.
It's a little too straight, maybe. Just a little bit.
Yep, hang out there on the right-hand side and be a tough second shot.
If you start fading up around that stump at the corner right there, you can have a really good shot.
Oh, thank you.
Zach thanking his trees. Happy little trees.
Just gotta get back. And that's gonna be fine.
Yep, that's pretty much exactly what you want there. Like Deann said, turn at that stump and you're good to go. Wow, excellent shot.
Couldn't have threw it any better.
Yeah, being left-handed really played to his advantage here. Nice turnover, and you just essed it around those trees. Ooh. I think his landing spot was okay, but yeah, you never want to hear a bunch of tree kicks like that.
Looks like we might have a roller.
Yep, indeed. Keep going, keep going. Away from OB. Holy cow. Yep. That was perfect. And that was his second shot. He's setting himself up for a nice bird here.
That OB to the left side of the basket comes up pretty quick. He should have a pretty good look.
Yeah, that was an awkward lie there. He had to do the patent pending, but he came out of it pretty decent. Ricky's third shot here. Well, that works. Just get right there to the basket. Zach's third shot here.
Oh, Zach, all you have to do is throw it high enough.
Zach was giving Zach a hard time, but Zach actually came out pretty well there. He's going to be putting. Wow, so smooth. Yep, that'll be an easy one there. Awesome.
Good birdie for Zach.
Yep, it's so humbling to see these guys play this. Like I said, this hole is pretty new as of late this summer, and we played it during league, and we played it during the Tiger River Tussle, one of our warm-up events for the Hub City Halloween Open, and there were not a gigantic amount of birdies here. So to see these guys just run it down like this is amazing. Wow. We did have a few other birdies on the day. Innova's Josh Day, Dickerson, Sam Drummond, Alex Durham, Ben Gossett, and Michael Gossett, two local guys. William Hanu, another local guy. Nikko, Zach, Jake Mon, Luke Sampson, Walter Satcher, and Mr. Ricky Wysocki. On the flip side, there were a good number of, we had about 30% bogeys, and then more doubles and triples and worse from there. Hole 16. This is where things start getting hairy. 552 feet, par 4. This is one of the tougher ones here, especially in the wind. Because first you have to throw up and over this hill or decide to lay up on this hill. Once you get to the rocks, it's OB on the left and to the right. All the tall grass and even behind the basket. And people might not know this, but from the tee pad, it's actually not straight up and over. There's a slight angle. Let's see what these guys do with it. He's safe. I threw that one into the hill a little bit.
And the OB does not start until you get to the top of the hill.
Right. You have to pass those rocks first. I gotta wonder if the wind's pushing those discs down, because to see both those guys throwing the side of the hill like that just didn't seem right.
No! What are you doing? That's so... Well, don't feel bad, fellas.
Zach, same thing there.
Let's see if Nikko can make it over.
Nikko just going straight up the middle.
Go!
Yeah, there's got to be some wind pushing down there, because to see four of the top guys in our sport all have their shots smushed down like that. What a great shot by Ricky, the smart thing to do. For young players out there, that's he had no line of sight over the hill there and just put it inbounds. Yep. Excellent shot by Nikko.
This is a pretty tough hole, because if you land anywhere that's not the top of the hill, you really don't have a look for a birdie.
Yeah, no kidding. And footing is not great. No one wants to do a run-up going down a hill. Or up a hill for that matter.
Down.
What do we got? He's got the red
Aw.
flag. Ah, man.
Yep. How close?
So, looks like he's still thinking about it.
It's extremely close.
Looks like the group needs to make the call.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hit the rock.
Mm.
Stay. Okay. Yep, that could have had a bad roll to it. On rounds like this with the wind, it just feels like you're fighting against everything. Nikko making a run at it, but still sat down there. Chris kind of laughing at himself.
Probably just right here.
Yeah.
Yep. Unfortunately, OB.
I hope so.
Boom. Cashed in, saved the par. You might not be surprised to find out that hole 16 played as one of the toughest holes of the day, about half a stroke over par. Lots of bogeys, doubles, and worse. We did have a few birdies on the day, though. Jermaine Barksdale, William Hanu, Bruce Howland, Evan Scott, Andrew Turner, and David Weaver come up from Columbia.
Oh, good stuff down there. Cool.
Why'd you leave it all the way down there?
Good question, Chris.
Ricky at minus 21, Dickerson at minus 20, Zach at minus 18, and Nikko at minus 17.
Oh no. Right.
Hole 17, another one of the Tiger River signature holes, the double island hole. The players have the choice to throw, if you go out of bounds, to either use the drop zone or play by normal OB rules. Typically, you see two types of shot here. Either you lay up in the first island and then pitch it over the second island and go at the basket, or you see folks go for it and try for the eagle shot here. But towards the end of summer, one more thing that we did here is we raised this basket, kind of make folks think twice about going for it. Ricky didn't care; he's going for it anyhow. And, oh man, what a roll! A little bit tighter shot from Dickerson here. Wow. Kind of ends up basically at the same spot though. 2 for 2 making the island.
Typically, you would see most of our MPO players going for the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Drop.
And not the friendly roll for Zach, unfortunately. Nikko with a good shot there. Skips right up towards the basket inside the circle. Let's see what this basket makes these guys think about. although we're focused on the putting here, what in the world, this guy behind Dickerson, what's he got on his head? I know this is actually Halloween Day here, but...
I have no idea.
Well, it didn't phase Dickerson any. He just bagged the eagle there. I know, maybe some sort of windshield. Or a one-man Mount Rushmore. Man, what a putt. Look at that flag whipping on the top of that basket.
If the wind didn't make the putt hard enough, being elevated makes it even harder in the wind.
Nikko a little exasperated on that one, but that was a long putt there with the wind. Still carding birdies, though. I think that's something that we're looking at for next year. Are all of these pars really true for the MPO? Dickerson and Wysocki at 22, Melton at 19. Hole 18, final hole of this round. This is the one that shares the fairway with hole 10. So all of this stuff on the left-hand side, there's a line that's OB. It's basically the tree line, cut a little bit short there. And then once you get to this set of trees, it continues up on the left-hand side, basically to the tall grass. And then it wraps around the back side of the basket. So you have to be careful not to run it too hard if you're back and you really want to stab it up there for a good look at an eagle or a birdie.
Ricky, did you just say goodbye? He did. I swear he did.
And that looks like a great shot.
Holy cow, yep. Anything past those trees, those little dead-looking trees right now without any leaves, that's just an excellent shot.
It gives you a good look for the eagle.
Yeah.
They have to be careful with the wind and trying to turn the disc over like that, or it could go in the road and go out of bounds.
Yeah, I think Ricky was lucky not to have it any higher than it was. Man, just riding that wind. Wow. Excellent shot.
I can't wait to see what the hole's going to play like when those two trees grow up.
Oh yeah, no kidding. That'll kind of cut things off. I was surprised to not see any of these guys throw rollers. You know, is this not really a roller hole for most people?
Honestly, it could be a roller hole, but I think that in the wind, with how bad the wind is, I don't think that people would trust the roller as much as the air shot.
Okay, makes sense. Unfortunately, Zach, he had a great second shot there, but it went just a little long and skipped out of bounds.
See if Ricky can keep it up on the hill. He's got the look for the eagle.
Yep, I recognize that pig. Doing good work for him. One side of the hill there, but that's not a bad putt for Nikko. Popping it right down there at the pin. Nice shot by Dickerson.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry, Zach.
Morgan, one of our TDs.
Should have thrown it better.
You're asking his opinion there. Yeah, unfortunately it skipped out of bounds for Zach. And a super smart play. I know he wanted this one, but...
We got one eagle so far. Oof.
Another eagle. This hole actually played, it's a par 5, played about a half a stroke under par. Probably due in fact we had a good number of eagles. Chris Beckerich, AJ Carey, Chris Dickerson, Sam Drummond, Corey Ellis, Thomas Grigg, Russ Monty, Raven Newsom, Grady Shue, David Weaver, and Ricky Wysocki, all carding eagles here today on hole 18. All right, as Nikko saunters away from the basket, that does it for our coverage here. We have Ricky at -24 and Dickerson at -24, and Nikko and Zach also at -19 here together. Thanks to Great Courses of South Carolina, Infinite Disc, and Pro Pool for supporting the coverage and supporting Ace Run Pro. Thanks to the Patreons who, through Patreon, support Ace Run Pro. Like, subscribe, and follow Ace Run if you'd like to. That's the way we keep this coverage going. If you have some extra spare change and cash laying around, supporting something like this through Patreon is really the way to go. This is why we have free coverage on YouTube. Come back and join us for coverage from Holston Creek, Day 3, Round 3 for the MPO. Thanks again to Deann for joining me.
Thanks for having me.